I'd like to introduce you to Kyle Caldwell, the subject of our column today. It's all about homeschooling. Hello, Kyle.
Hello, Patty.
What are some of the devices you used in school that helped you learn?
Well, Mrs. Mitchell was our tutor, and she gave us a lot of different tools, I guess, to help us remember the material for quizzes and tests and that sort of thing. One of her favorite things to do was to make songs out of the material. So there's several different songs that we use, with everything from dates to presidents to explorers, just about anything you would want to know she put into a song.
Would you give us an example?
Well, the one I remember the best today would be the President's song, where I learned all of them in order. I don't have the greatest singing voice, so you'll have to bear with me, but because they were Washington, John Adams, also Thomas Jefferson, next James Madison and James Monroe, then John Quincy Adams, Andrew Jackson, Van Buren, William Henry Harrison, and John Tyler, then James K. Polk was President 11, Zachary Taylor Fillmore, then Pierce first name Franklin, James Buchanan, then there was Honest Abe Lincoln, Andrew Johnson and U.S. Grant, then Rutherford B. Hayes, Garfield Arthur, Cleveland Harrison were more than half the way. Once again was Grover Cleveland, later William McKinley, Teddy Roosevelt, Taft, Woodrow Wilson, Warren Harding, Calvin Coolidge, Herbert Hoover, and Roosevelt F.D., Harry Truman, Eisenhower, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, Lyndon Baines Johnson, Richard Milhous Nixon, Gerald Ford, James Carter, and Ronald Reagan, George Herbert Walker Bush, followed by Bill Clinton. And then I was back in high school before George W. Bush and Obama were added to the song. But, as you can see, she also made us all work very hard on enunciation when we sang the song. She said, alright, slow down, make sure that you say the names. Otherwise I'd just sound like, they were watching it, that was Thomas Jefferson. But in addition to that, there were oral timelines. There were things that we just had to memorize, such as, there's not a song for the Declaration of Independence, but we still had to memorize that. Lots of items such as that. There was a famous dates page, couple pages. I didn't memorize those very well, but there were no songs for that, but there were songs for the explorers, which went to the tune of Gilligan's Island. The tools that we were given in that school are endless. I could go on and on about them.
And that's probably the reason the school is so successful. When you can remember things after so long a time, it proves that your learning was complete. Kyle, why did your parents choose to homeschool?
If you were to ask them, I think they would probably say that they decided it was a better way for them to be able to spend time with their kids, and that it was another way for them to be able to teach not only the schoolwork, but to teach us life lessons through their example. I didn't have to learn life lessons from my teachers because my teacher was my mom or my dad. So besides learning all of the wealth of information I got through the actual homeschooling, I learned through their example daily, and that was one of the greatest things that I learned during school, was watching them, watching my parents. When it's your own kids and you care that much about them, and though many teachers do care about their students, there is something about parenting that causes a parent to really, really want their child to succeed.
When I spoke with Mrs. Mitchell last night, she said that she didn't have a teaching credential, but she homeschooled her own daughter.
Yes.
And that's how the tutoring program began. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Well, we always used to think of her as our teacher, and I used to call her teacher, and then she told us that eventually she explained to me that she was just a tutor because, like you said, she doesn't have a teaching credential. But she realized through the education of her own daughter and bringing her up through that she enjoyed teaching, that she enjoyed helping kids with their school. And I think it probably blossomed out of the fact that as her daughter went on to college and although she didn't need the tutoring as much, that she probably offered to probably just the parents, her friends at first, saying, hey, I'll help tutor your child or your kid, and developed into this huge program, which has been such a blessing for kids like me and many others. And now her daughter helps with the program sometimes when she came home from school, like when she came home from college. I mean, she'd come home and help her mom with some of the grading of the papers or even listening to recitations, that sort of thing.
So to sum up, Kyle, how do you feel about homeschooling?
Homeschooling as a whole, though every education system does have its flaws, as a whole I love homeschooling. I want to do it for my kids, and I encourage just about everyone I meet to do it. Mrs. Mitchell's program in particular, if I could go back now, I would. I believe I learned more during her class than I did in college, and I enjoyed it more.